Okay, since I shot the last video where I did the temperature profiles, I've done something pretty stupid. I ended up frying my sound card and frying the motherboard, part of the motherboard anyway. I won't bore you with the details, but ultimately what this means is that I've had to put a new motherboard in and a new sound card in, which is it's allowed me to make one or two additional modifications which I thought were worth sharing, but also perhaps more importantly, this new motherboard, although it's the same type as that I had before, which is the Supermicro C2 SEA motherboard, it, perhaps because of a new version of the BIOS, allows me to boot the machine without a fan being installed on the motherboard. That means that for the first time I can actually achieve what I tried to achieve from the outset, which was to have a computer running without a fan. So if I switch this machine on now by pressing this button, you can see a little bit of a flash here as a Borg safety control system, which is set to come on when the temperature sensor reaches 50 degrees, but it starts up as soon as you put the power on for a split second. So there you go, it starts for a second and then switches on. You can just hear the CD drive making a little bit of noise. I'll take the top of the case. Oh yes, and you can see there's the machine booting up. So now this is booting. This machine's running without a fan. Let me quickly take this top off. Put it down safely. Okay. So the only fan on this computer is that it's controlled via this temperature control system here, going to this point here. That is monitored by this unit here, which has got a thermocouple which sits on top of the hard drive, which is the thing that I'm worried about getting too hot. So this is the one with all the data on it. This runs, this thing hasn't actually ever switched on. It's set to come on at about when this thermocouple in here gets to 50 degrees. It hasn't done that. The drive seems to converge to about 41 degrees under normal operation, which is fine. So yes, just to recap, what we've got is 4 heat sinks. So we've got a heat sink over this power supply system, which is connected via heat pipes to this set of heat sinks here. Heat sinks over the motherboard, connected to these fins here and insulated from the inside of the case. Down here we have one which is on the G45 graphics processor here, which comes up through a set of heat pipes onto this wall, and then buried deep down in here you can see that's the ICH10 chip there, which has got a heat sink, which again comes up to this block here and onto there. So basically what happens is the heat comes from the chips on the motherboard into the heat pipes, through the heat pipes to these heat sinks on the outside of the case, and that's all insulated, so the heat that's on these heat sinks doesn't come back into the case. So what's happening is that we have, actually this is the thing, the power supply, which is a semi-fanless power supply. The fan only kicks in when it gets too hot. It's never kicked in as far as I've ever used it. The heat flows off this over the top here and through the vents passively. Similarly to this hard drive, there's a lot of fins on here. The heat just flows off that passively through from the bottom of the case out through the top. Just using this emergency control system, if the system inside here ever gets to 50 degrees, the air temperature gets to 50 degrees at the top here. I suppose it might do if I were to put some additional cards in, but I don't really see it happening. The hard drive I've moved from this location here, where it was on the original build, to underneath the CD drive there, so it's tucked out of the way, and that's allowed me to free up this space here so that I've got another PCI slot if I ever need to utilise that. But I only have one card in here at the moment, which is the Marion Mark II sound card. After a number of sound card tests that I've done, this card, it's a nice simple sound card, Marion Mark II, is superior to even the more expensive Marion Mark X cards, the M Audio 2496 card. It beats it hands down. This is a really, really good sound card. And in terms of the use of a sound card, all I'm doing is I'm just taking the SP-DIF digital output out. It's a very, very pure digital output, probably a very accurate clock, low jitter, and yeah, it works very well. Of course now, and I'll stop talking, listen. No sound from the computer. No sound at all. Which is exactly what you want when it's a piece of hi-fi. So, well, I hope, I hope this has been useful, and if you have any wish to build one yourself, then maybe this will serve to help. Oh, just one other thing, the insulation that I've used, this is the sort of stuff that you can put behind radiators. It's shiny plastic stuff, and here's a little bit of aluminium, single-sided aluminium tape, which I've used to do all the insulation internally. So anyway, there it is. It works very well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.